Hello everybody, welcome back to another exciting edition of Edpuzzle Lecture Notes. Now I know I might sound like a broken record when I say this, but if you're struggling in this class, if your grade is a D or an F, and you want your grade to go up, if you don't watch the Edpuzzles, if you don't take notes, if you're not paying attention, that's probably not going to happen. Your grade's going to stay the same or it might go down. So let's try something different. Let's pay attention. And you can get this. This is not difficult math. Now remember, last time we did population density. I'll just put pop density. Remember, that's how close together the organisms are in their community and in their population. Are they very scrunched together or are they spread out? And remember, the formula for that was the number of individuals. So how many people or squirrels or gophers or whatever population you're talking about, how many of them are there? Are there 25? Are there 100? Well, that's what we need on the top. And we're going to divide that by the area. So remember, that's how we figure out population density. It's just the number of individuals. How many individuals are in your population, and divide that by how big is the area. Now, the other thing we did was population growth. I'm just going to put pop for population growth. And remember, that's where we had to add the things that make a population go up, and then we subtracted things that make a population go down. And you're going to need to know this one because the next thing we're going to do is called population growth rate. And you got to be able to figure out population growth in order to calculate the population growth rate. Now remember, population growth was births. I'm just going to put a B, births, having a baby, baby deer, that makes your population go up, plus immigration. When organisms immigrate into a population, that makes the population go up. Now you subtract the things that make a population go down, and that is death. Deaths is one way you make a population go down. If 5 deer die in a population, that makes the population of deer go down by 5. Another thing that makes it go down is how many deer emigrate, not immigrate, but emigrate out of the population. And that'll also make the population go down. So here is the formula for population growth. Birth plus immigration minus deaths minus emigration. Now remember this because we're going to be using that on the next slide. Alright, so the next thing is population growth rate. Now remember, on the previous screen we figured out population growth. Remember, that's when we did births plus immigration minus deaths minus emigration. We got the population growth. Now, when you get population growth, you're just getting a whole number. For example, if say the population growth was maybe 500 people. Well, that doesn't really tell us much. Is that a fast growth rate or is that a slow growth rate? If the state of California increased plus 500 people when California has over 30 million people in it, that would be very slow growth rate because 500 compared to 30 million is nothing. But if the population of Tulare Western High School went up by 500 people, Tulare Western High School only has about 1,900. So if it went up by 500 people, that would be really fast growth rate. And the formula for population growth rate is just the population growth, which remember, that's what we figure out with the B plus I minus D minus E. That's how we figure out population growth. So it's population growth divided by the total population. Alright, so let's try this one. You have a population of monkeys which increased, it grew by 120 individuals. Now remember, you figure out the population growth with the births plus immigration minus deaths minus emigration. And when they did that, they got 120. So there's 120 more monkeys than there were before. Now, the formula for population growth rate is the population growth divided by the total population. In this case, all you got to do is insert the numbers. Population growth, right there, 120 monkeys. That's how much it went up by. The total population is right there, 2,500. And when you do that, 120 divided by 2,500, you're going to get 0.048. Now, remember, 0.048, that is not going to be a percent yet. To turn that into a percent, you got to take that decimal and go over once, twice. So there will be your answer. The answer will be 4.8%. So don't forget, turn a decimal into a percent, you got to move the decimal over twice. Alright, so now I'm going to let you guys try this one. This is the actual population growth rate of Tulare. So in 1 year, Tulare increased by 567 people. The total population of Tulare is roughly 63,000 people. Let's see if you can figure out what the population growth rate of Tulare is as a percent. Alright, hopefully you remember that the formula for population growth rate is the population growth divided by the total population. Alright. So now that we know the formula, all we have to do is plug in the numbers. What is the population growth of Tulare? Here it is right there. The population grew by 567 people. Now what's the total population of Tulare? Well, it's right there. It's 63,000 people. So it's 567 divided by 63,000. Now remember, it is not against the law to have a larger number on the bottom in the denominator than the number on the top. That is totally legal. So don't get worried if you see that. And if you do that, 567 divided by 63,000, you get 0.009. 0.009. Now remember, that is not a percent yet. To turn that into a percent, we got to move the decimal over once, twice, right there. There's our answer. The population growth rate of Tulare is 0.9%. All right, I think this one will be your favorite formula of all. This is the easiest one. This one is, you start with the speed limit on the freeway. You guys know what the speed limit on the freeway is? Well, you don't drive yet, most of you, but the speed limit is 70. That doesn't really look like 70, so 70, that's the speed limit on the freeway. 70, and you're going to divide it by the growth rate in the percent form. So the growth rate percent. 70 divided by the growth rate, that's an R, that gives you how long it'll take for the population to double in size. For example, if it was 200 people, how many years will it take for that population to double, for it to become 400 people? And this is the formula to figure that out, how long it'll take, how many years before it to double. 70 divided by the growth rate. All right, so the doubling formula, remember 0.9% is the actual growth rate of Tulare, California. It grows at 0.9%. Now the question is, remember Tulare has a population of roughly 63,000 people. Well, the doubling formula is going to say how many years is it going to take to double to reach 126,000 people. Remember, the formula is the number 70 divided by the growth rate. So we know 70. Boom, there's 70. Let's just fill in the growth rate of 0.9. 70 divided by 0.9 equals 77.8 years. So, according to this formula, it's going to take about 77.8 years for Tulare to go from 63,000 people to 126,000 people. That is the formula to figure out how long it'll take for a population to double. All right, now let's see if you guys can do this one. Step one, what's the formula? Should be pretty easy because you should have written it down in your notes. But even if you didn't, it's not that hard to remember. Let's see if you can get this one right. Alrighty, so hopefully you remember the formula for the doubling formula for how long it's going to take the population to double is the speed limit on the freeway, which is 70, divided by the growth rate. Alright, so boom, we got the growth rate right here, 1.3%. All you got to do, 70 divided by the growth rate, which is 1.3, and when you do that, you're going to get 53.8 years. So this specific population of frogs, their population will double. So if their population was 500, it'll take 53.8 years for it to go from 500 to 1,000, because 1,000 is double of 500. Okay, regular bios, this is 100% extra credit for you guys. Honors bio, sorry, it's regular credit for you guys, but it's not all that hard. All right, this is a population that helps you determine or calculate what the future population is going to be in however many years into the future you want to look. And here is the formula right here. It is the future population equals the initial population, what's the starting population, times 1 plus the growth rate as a decimal. And then you're going to do that to a factor of how many years in the future you want to look. For example, let's try to figure out the future population of Tulare. So remember, we're going to try to figure out the future population of Tulare. Let's go 50 years in the future. What is the population of Tulare going to be 50 years in the future? Well, our initial population is what the population is now. So, population of Tulare right now is 63,000 people. We're going to multiply that times 1 plus the growth rate as a decimal. Decimal. Now, if you remember earlier, the growth rate of Tulare was 0.9%. Remember, to turn it back into a decimal, we got to move the decimal over once, twice. So that'd be 0.009. So it's going to be 1 plus 0.009. And then, since we're going to go 50 years into the future, 50 years, we're going to do that to a factor of 50. Now, usually you put like a little number 2, that's squaring, or you put a 3, that's cubed. But your calculator can easily do this, and I'll tell you which button to push. On your iPhone, it's going to be the button that looks like this. It's going to be X to the little Y button. That's how you're going to figure it out. But anyways, all right, let's figure out this first. What's 1 plus 0.009? Well, obviously, that is going to be 1.009. And now we got to do that to the factor of 50. So, what you do is, first, in your calculator, type in 1.009. Type that in first, 1.009. Then hit this button right here, the X to the Y button. And since we're going 50 years in the future, after you hit the X to the Y button, type in 50 and then hit equals. And you will get 1.565. But remember, we still have to multiply that times the original population. And when you multiply 1.565 times the starting population of 63,000, in 50 years the population of Tulare will be 98,604 people. not chimps, not gorillas. 98,604 people. All right, last slide. Let's see honors bio. I think you should be able to do this, at least with a little practice. Regular bio, hey, extra credit. Everybody could use a little extra credit, except maybe like one or two people. All right, see what you can do. All right, here we go. So, here's the formula. Future population equals the present population, present pop, times 1 plus the growth rate as a decimal, and to a factor of how many years in the future. And since we're going 50 for Las Vegas, it's going to be the factor of 50. All right. So the future population equals the present population of Las Vegas is 632,000. 632,000 people times 1 plus the growth rate as a decimal. Now look, that growth rate is still as a percent. So we got to convert that into a decimal. So 1.58%, to turn that into a decimal, we got to go over once, twice, and we get 0.0158. So it's going to be 1 plus 0.0158, and then to the power of 50 to go 50 years in the future. All right, so first let's do this. What's 1 plus 0.0158? Well, of course that is 1.0158. Now remember, 1.0158, but we got to go to the factor of 50. So when you got 1.0158, next thing you do is you hit the X to the Y button. Then you type in 50. And when you do that, you're going to get 2.19. So all of this over here, all of this, the 1 plus 0.0158 to the factor of 50 equals 2.19. Well, we still have to multiply that by 63,000 or 632,000. And let's see what we get. And if you do that, if you go 2.19 times 632,000 in 50 years, the population of Las Vegas will be 1,383,972 people. All right. Thank you very much for listening. I hope I didn't confuse you too much, but even if I did, hey, we can work on it in class. The only thing is you can't give up. If you give up, you got no chance. If you keep trying, you will do it because it's not that hard. You can do it. Talk to you next time.